We welcome everyone to the July 7th, 2022 Carbondale Historic Preservation Commission. Kay, would you please take roll call?
Back to my screen. All right. Kim McGee, present. Jess Patterson is not here. Nick Michon.
Here.
Eric Dowd.
Here.
Eric Seacrest.
Here.
Melissa Jones.
Here.
John Williams.
Here.
Heather McDonald. Here. All right, so we're just missing Jess.
Terrific. Thank you, everyone. Persons present not on the agenda? I see one person present. Is that on? Please come. Welcome. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Chris Hassig. I just got elected to the town trustees and just had some good conversations with Eric at the discussions around the town center stuff. And he invited me to come just visit and see how you all are doing. And I'm not sure other commissions have liaisons between the board of trustees and themselves. And I don't know if historic preservation does or not, but I'm willing to take up that role if you would like me to.
So
But I think
Lauren
it's
and I talked about this.
Yeah.
Technically, a trustee cannot be a liaison to the CHPC. Because what would happen is if a building came in for landmark status, you would have to recuse yourself.
Well, that
That's-
could be fine.
Well, but the charter is written that Nick is the liaison for P and Z. Excuse me. So it's not written into the way the CHPC is made up to have the board of trustee as a liaison,
Okay,
because we could run into legal trouble.
Okay.
So we can't do that.
all right.
I
Well,
mean, you can
that's-
definitely show up,
All right,
but
Well,
just not
that's
sit up
fine
here
then.
as a member of public.
great. Well, that's good to clear that up.
Do we need an amendment to chapter 16 to address that?
I would talk to the town attorney first, because you run into some legal issues with that. Because the board of trustees would be reviewing applications that the CHPC has already reviewed. So that's usually a big no-no.
Okay, I'm not following all the logic, but
You would,
to
Lauren,
me, that if you excuse yourself.
right, but
from
if you
the
don't have a
get-go-
quorum and that, if you have a quorum of trustee members and that one member that makes that quorum has to excuse himself, it creates problems
So we've got plenty of members, so
at the board of trustees.
at the board of trustees.
Right. And I spoke, Lauren asked me about this and we talked it through and explained to her how the CHPC, the actual ordinance was written. And it was written specifically only for P and Z to have a liaison and not for board of trustees.
That's actually part of the CLG bylaws.
It is too,
Well,
yes.
So I don't know that's something that we could.
Well, there are other boards that have liaison, correct?
Right.
Beyond P and Z.
But this board, this commission can take action through the landmarking process. A lot of the other commissions are advisory in nature. That's what separates this commission from those ones.
That makes sense to me.
Didn't realize we had so much muscle.
Yeah, it's good to know.
On the landmarking side, not really the courtesy review, of course, as we all know.
Look out now. Well,
Anyway, well, I'm Chris. I grew up in town. I've been here for a while. I've seen a lot of changes. I am passionate about historic preservation. I want to keep not only the buildings, but hopefully the institutions that make Carbondale wonderful in place, and the community character and sense of cohesion. I believe that has something to do with our inheritance of buildings and places like the Dinkle Building and the amount of diversity and arts and creativity that happens in these kinds of buildings are key to what I think makes Carbondale special in a lot of ways. And so I just really think it's important your work and want to just support and try to bring that vision to the Board of Trustees as well as much as possible, going forward. So I guess, yeah, I don't really care to try to influence you in any way, but I would love to listen. And so I'm happy to sit in the audience. So yeah, that's a bit. Any questions for me or anything? All right.
Chris, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much for coming and introducing yourself.
Yeah.
It's good to know that we have
Yeah.
people on the board of trustees who are like-minded. And we'd love to see you,
Great.
more of you,
Awesome.
at any of these meetings.
Great.
Thanks, Chris.
I'll
It's
let
good to
you-
meet you.
Thanks,
Look forward to
Chris.
seeing you again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking forward to your positive vote when we show up.
Okay, approval of June 2nd, 2022 minutes. Any questions, comments, concerns regarding the 2022 minutes? Sorry, the June 2nd, 2022 minutes. No questions, comments?
I motion we approve the minutes for June.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Moving on. Item number 4, budget request letter. Somebody wrote a letter. It's pretty short. Comments? Discussion? Sure, yeah. Yeah.
So can you just outline what the letter says?
It is an outline. This letter is intended to provide information to the Planning Commission and Board of Trustees on what the Historic Preservation Commission considers necessary in order to meet the goals set forth for 2023 as stated henceforth. Item number 1, continue developing the medallion and information plaque program for structures of merit. We're requesting $1,500 for that to continue that program. And item number 2, hire a consultant to help write text amendments to the HCC and OTR design standards, draft text amendments to Chapter 16 of the Municipal Code and UDC to better align with comprehensive plan updates. All text amendments would, of course, be presented to the Planning Commission for recommendation and trustee approval, and we're asking for $7,500 for that effort. Total budgetary request for the aforementioned items is $9,000.
I think it's very well done.
I like it short and sweet.
Agreed.
So do we have to approve it to send it to the trustees or?
We send it to planning and zoning for recommendation. Is that right? Or does it go straight to BOT?
So when I talked to Lauren about this, we're obviously starting to get the budget process in the process. With Renee leaving, there's going to be a new finance director midway through the budget process. So it's good that we got this in here first before that change happens so that we can actually have it for the preliminary budget. We have not seen that yet. It's going to probably be out in the next few weeks. Once we see that, I can put this in front of Lauren and see what she thinks. We had a preliminary discussion about that the same time we talked about a trustee liaison. And she seemed in supportive because I threw out a number that was way higher. And she was like, well, no, probably not. I was like, probably around 8 or 9. Okay, we can work with that. So that's a positive sign. So we'll just see if it makes it through the budget process, and hopefully we can have the check-in with the Board of Trustees before the budget's finalized and you guys can hammer it home.
Would the consultant go to a bid, an RFQ or anything like that?
With it being,
Requirement, I guess.
with it being 7,500, it most likely would go out to bid, yes. Normally the trigger is like 5,000.
Okay. And so would we be putting together that RFQ and putting it on someplace like BidNet, or I don't even know where that would be posted?
We would toss it out to History Colorado on their little bid page they have on there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, John, what did our historic surveys cost? I know that was a cost shared thing, but just to give us a little perspective of.
The last one, since we had overages on it, was on, I'm thinking off the top of my head, about 45,000.
Yeah, so that's significantly different, but it was
But,
significantly amount of work.
Right, and I also think that we had to price match or have a match of at least 15,000 for that.
So the city did, or the town did come up with 15,000 for the match.
Correct, yes. And don't quote me on that number, I'm just thinking
Yeah,
off the
no,
top of
no,
my head.
Was that part of a long kind of term budget process, or did they just find the money for that?
I believe we did just find the money for it, yep, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so good, Nick. Right. So I make a motion that we send a letter to forward to
P and Z.
Lauren, I guess.
So yeah, I guess it goes straight to staff,
Right,
and then you guys can determine where it gets allocated from there.
correct, yes. See if it makes it through the initial budget process.
So after I read it to you, I realized there's quite a few grammatical errors. Would you like me to take one more pass at it before I release it one last time?
With an architectural background, that's acceptable.
Dyslexia is part of the prerequisite for architecture.
Think of that as your correction letter.
Okay, I'll take one more pass, clean it up, hand it off. Thank you, everybody. That's great.
I'll second that.
I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Terrific. Motion's passed. The next item is adjournment, but I'd just like to ask, how's Janet?
She's good. She did come home for a short time, but realized that only having one PT session a week was not really detrimental to her. And she was actually kind of going back. I talked to her. Actually, I stopped by Friday of last week, talked to her Saturday, and then also talked to her yesterday on the phone. She's currently at a facility in Eagle where it's, and she's basically a patient there and doing PT at least 2 times a day. And you can definitely see a change where she's progressing. She's definitely got the eye on the goal, which is getting better and being able to live the life after planning here for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Think about her every day. Please, when you talk to her next, tell her I said.
Absolutely. Yeah.
My thoughts are with her.
I mean, she's the architect of this entire commission and the historic preservation program. So
Absolutely.
that was her baby. She got it through.
And has been my mentor for many years.
Yep.
And
Make that from the entire commission.
Absolutely.
what happened?
She had a stroke.
Hmm.
Yeah. Like a month before she was scheduled to not retire. A lot of people say she was retiring and she hates that. She was just moving on to something else.
Mhm.
Live your life while you still can was how we phrased it.
Yeah, retirement's a definite misnomer.
Look at you.
We got busier after we stopped working.
That's not such a bad thing. I think of my father-in-law and he's doing way more than he did as an engineer for GM. I do have one thing after that. The Dinkle building has indicated to the building official that they will be coming in for building permit. So we'll be looking at their exterior changes. So once that comes in, we'll kick it up the pipe and get that on our agenda.
Great. Do you think that'll be in the next meeting packet? Just
Not sure.
Okay.
He indicated that it might be 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the next one or the next one after that?
Yeah.
Possibly. Okay. Keep an eye out.
Yeah, and just informing them that, you know, we're looking for a complete submission.
We've had several pre-app meetings with them. They're well dialed in. They want to be well dialed in.
An architect on board?
Yes, there is.
Or
Yeah.
just a muscle builder?
There's actually 3 architects on board.
Really? Good.
Yeah. They actually just discovered that they need to replace the boiler in the building.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So they're definitely starting to really do some work to take care of the building, add the elevator, the exterior stairs, work on the windows, the cornice, and now the boiler.
That's a big ticket item.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It looks like Cypress in Maine is taking shape.
Yeah.
Sopris and Vane.
The
Or
switch
sorry,
building.
Snowmass in Maine.
The switch building. Right? Is that not what they called it? The switch building?
That's
That's 234.
Oh.
I think, or two.
Soperson, Maine.
Snowmass in Maine.
Snowmass.
Snowmass.
It's on the corner of.
For
The one
Like
that came
first
like a
and
month ago.
couple
Times
that
ago.
Oh.
four unit,
Oh, yes. That's, okay, gotcha. The one on the very end of town.
right?
It's nice.
I would have put it in glass doors. It feels a little like a storage unit or something.
Dark brown
That's
doors.
when I did my building, that was one of the things I determined was gonna make it a commercial building, was have some life behind the doors.
I was surprised by those doors too.
Yeah.
And
We
they're
had
not
that same comment.
inexpensive.
No, huh?
We had that same comment when he came in. We were like, really? Come on, John.
They look like residential. But anyway, it looks better than it did.
That's true.
John, were you able to do any lookup on landmarking the Thompson House Museum, even though it's on the National Registry? Can we still do
I reached out to History Colorado and have not heard back from them as of yet. With my other duties, it's kind of
Really?
it's down on the.
right? So they're the ones that should have the answer.
Correct, yes.
All right.
When the Dinkel building does come in, do we want to approach them about landmarking? And if so, on a national level or on the local level?
I think it should be on the local level myself.
Yeah, it would be on the local.
No money involved
Yeah, we
in,
could suggest they go to the
Restoration.
National Register, but here we would like
We
them
are
to be a
representing-
local landmark building.
Mhm,
I definitely think it would be beneficial to suggest on the local level,
mhm.
because really, I mean, that's Main Street, Carbondale, that's HCC, that's the heart and soul right there. And to have that as your first landmark in town,
Big.
that could be a huge
Mhm. So-
thing
Well,
to
and-
have and also a trigger point.
They could hang their hat on the fact that they're the first local landmark building in town.
Mhm. And the one that we
And-
probably want the most.
Yeah.
And that's what we all feel is most in danger.
I think they'd have real trouble going on the national because of all the work they're doing inside also. I believe
They could,
the
yeah.
National Registry, it needs to be pretty much exactly the way it was, in and out. Inside as well. Is my understanding,
Anymore.
right?
I think for tax credits as well, if they want federal funding, the national registration would be important. But I mean, that's not my area of expertise, but maybe they can educate us.
Yeah, I mean, John's correct. I doubt they could make a national level preservation type deal, because there's been so much work. I mean, you've got a radio antenna on there and other items, so much other work that's been done to it. But it might be a suggestion for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the fact that Steve's guitar used to be a laundromat, which you It used to be the bank, which who knows what it was. There's kind of a question whether that was, the bank safe was there, but it might not have been the original, the very first bank. Or they moved because I think they found a safe downstairs also.
Yeah,
So
shooting range.
there were probably 2 locations for the bank in that building at one time.
There's a shooting range in the basement of Steve's Guitars.
So, so probably 5 years ago, the building official and I did an inspection through the building and went down into the basement, and you can see all the bullet holes in the far eastern side in the foundation, because someone had been shooting down there.
Target practice, I hope.
Exactly, yeah. Random things you see.
Well, how am I gonna buy this revolver if I can't shoot it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we will keep an eye out for that review in the next couple of meeting packets. Thanks for the heads up. That's going to be great. Looking forward to that review process.
Are there tax incentives we can offer them for doing the local landmarking?
We can, yes, through the Board of Trustees. There's several types of fee actions we can take, and then through the landmarking process, there is some tax benefit for that. We can draw that up before they actually come forward and have it as
Yeah.
a nice package to present.
That would be nice. Good idea. Yeah, have that.
Have that all ready
In
to go?
It's like a 1-2 punch.
The other thing is maybe we could ask Kim for an update on the plaque and commentary.
Well, the update is out of, we have 11 now. No, actually we have 12. And we're making progress. About half of those, the verbiage has been okayed by the people. Some of them, they've got more verbiage and there's a little bit more homework that's being done as we speak by the homeowners. People have been really active and very interested in it and very enthusiastic. Images are my next challenge. I was wondering, do any of you guys know, a lot of the plaques, they look like a line drawing, but what it really looks like is it was a photograph that was made to look like a line drawing on some of the present plaques. And John thought maybe one of you architects might know how they do that. I don't know. So the next part is the images.
You're talking about embossing an
Well-
image on the plaque?
Yeah, and I don't even know that it's embossed. It almost looks like it's printed. Like there's one over at the Smithy that you could look at.
Okay.
So if any of you guys have any ideas about that, I don't know how to do that, but
Maybe a filter in Photoshop.
yeah, maybe.
It's turning something that's 2D, made to look like a 3D, into something that is actually 3D. Technically.
Well, and it's flat on the plaque. And they literally almost look like a sketch. So I have a feeling there's a really easy way to do it, but
It's probably a filter in Photoshop. There's several new ones, it seems like.
so maybe we can talk about that.
Mhm.
Try something out.
Yeah, Photoshop. You can do everything in Photoshop.
So however we come up with that, the Roaring Fork Science wants it, well, it would be less expensive for us to come up with a print-ready image or whatever we give to them so that they don't have to go back and redo, work their magic on it. So we need that print ready for them. They're all set and ready to do it. They were asking me about it today. And I gave them the update, basically what Kim just told you. The one and only medallion, the 8-inch medallion is ordered and should be here first week or so of August.
Well, it'd be nice to bring that to the next meeting if it comes in time, so we can actually see the thing.
Well, we'll see. She just said the first part of August, so. I think we're coming up in August. First week, I think we're really pretty early for next month's meeting.
Or the meeting after that, I don't know.
Well, definitely we could bring it on September, I'm sure, unless we already have it in the Ezra's front yard.
And then we'll bring a picture.
Oh, we'd love, I think it'd be great to bring those into the meeting, take a look at them, toss them around, see what they weigh, and
Yeah,
actually hold it and look at
okay,
it.
yeah.
Fun.
So we'll do that before we install it.
Be good. Please.
I have two things. So John Williams and Jess, your commissions will expire in August. So if you're interested in renewing, you need to get the application to me for the next meeting. Your renewal application.
Is
For-
there an application, formal application that we fill out?
It's basically the same thing that you filled out before. You just say it's a renewal.
Well,
And so that's just, it has to come back to the commission so they can approve it, and then it goes to the Board of Trustees. To
and
renew
that should
your-
be done by next month.
It- Either next month or September, one of the two, but I'm trying not to let people get too far behind.
All
So
right. Time's
just thought you
flying
know.
by.
It is. And then the other thing, the tree board is potentially having a walk around down Main Street to look at some of the trees it would be next Thursday. And one of the board members, Dan Bullock, has suggested if any of the Historic Preservation Commission members are interested, there's some Main Street programs, and, they just kind of want to talk about a lot of the trees are having some growing challenges, so they're just going to look at that. And since it's the downtown, they would be interested in your input. So let me know if you're interested in coming, and I'll send you a copy of the agenda.
Do we know what time they're doing that?
It would be their normal meeting time at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I would like to do the walk with the
Okay.
gang.
That's all.
Okay, where would you find that application?
It's on the Boards and Commissions webpage. So if you go to the Boards and Commissions webpage, it should be on the main page somewhere in there. If not, I can't look at it right now, but it should be there.
Okay.
There's also 2 hard copies on this table.
Perfect. Okay.
And
Oh,
Boards and
good.
Commissions.
yeah. Probably
Did you say
done.
that the tree boardwalk was?
Next Thursday.
Yeah. So a week from today.
Oh, yeah, there it is. Advisory Board or Commission application, right where you said. Yep. Great. Okay, any other topics for discussion?
I think I emailed everybody that had volunteered to work Mountain Fair, but we do not get to do that this year. But they said we're in for sure next year. So prepare yourselves, the beer tent next summer.
There. Who is they?
That's a great question. I've got the emails.
It's the Arts Council? or-
I think it's the Arts Council, but it wasn't, Amy, of course, since she's
It was
retiring.
Evan from
was-
Blades and
I want to say his
Adventure.
name, Evan,
Evan.
wasn't it? Yeah. And so they have a committee and there was some reason, I think there were a bunch of people ahead of us.
They also wanted to have a variety of different type of people, like groups. So they didn't want all nonprofits, and I think they were just trying to get a more variety, and they had more applicants in the email
That's
than they
exactly-
usually do.
Yeah, you have a good memory. Yeah, but he said next summer we're in for sure. So plan to be here for Mountain Fair weekend.
Thank you. Anything else?
Oh, have we got applications in for like the planning director and the planning technician?
The planning technician will not be hired until after the planning director. There's 6 resumes in. They're currently taking the integrity test, and then we finally got interviews scheduled for the 14th and 15th.
Are you interested?
No. No, because Lauren said that we might be able to have a representative of the commission to show up in those interviews, possibly, but that's was.
It's
I
gonna
didn't know.
be staff, the P and Z chair, and then town manager.
Oh.
Trying to not get it political. So as to your question, Eric, the last survey was 25,075 with a 25% match from the town. Was a little off.
Yeah, because I think somewhere along the line, we want to get the next round of surveys done for our little log structures,
Yep.
et cetera.
That's a good
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Ron definitely recommended the log structures.
Yeah, I don't know that we would fold that into our current budget request, but that could be for the following year.
That's a grant. It's just matching funds, right?
Correct.
So would we apply for the grant and then apply for the matching funds, or would we have to get the matching funds first and then apply for the grant?
We would come before the board and ask for the matching funds with the indication that we were applying for a grant.
Okay,
Because those funds have to be earmarked, sorry, before we actually apply. So we need to indicate to History Colorado that yes, we've earmarked these funds in the budget if we actually receive the grant.
would it give town staff heartburn to ask for additional funds as matching funds for a grant for an additional survey?
I would think, and this was the discussion at previous meetings, that it would probably be biting off a little bit more for you guys right now.
Okay.
You got a lot on your plate. You're looking at 2 code rewrites, design guideline rewrite, and also the plaque program. Unless you want to start having more meetings.
No, good advice. Okay, so next year.
Gotcha.
So, I mean,
Or
it's
just
prioritized.
Yeah, let's not forget, and
No, that'd be hard to forget. I mean, that has been our biggest push, I think, as a committee.
And Ron's advice from his report was definitely start looking at the log cabins. I mean, we've got many that have been moved here, and it's something we need to start looking at for sure.
I think it would behoove, it would be really advantageous to have more communication with him or someone like him. I, for one, feel like, that would be just a really great education. He was so knowledgeable, and
So it's great.
any reason to reach out to him for anything, I think would be beneficial. So even just starting those conversations would be terrific.
well, and he has a significant amount of background in town Carbondale already. Would be able to help us identify which building should get surveyed.
Yeah.
And maybe he could volunteer for that. Who knows?
From Fort Collins.
Yeah, he's coming from Fort Collins. That's right. He's from far away.
Well, Susanna Reed's still in Aspen, and I don't know if she's available, but she's still in business doing her same stuff. She's the one that did the first two.
Keep in mind that it would have to go out for bid.
Okay,
Right.
through history preservation again.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, any other topics? Someone like to entertain or make a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Well, second.
Meeting is adjourned. Great.